What is going on, guys? I am the FD Guru, bringing to you guys episode 34 of my fantasy sports podcast. Last night's NBA team scored pretty high, ended up not hitting in all double ups. It hit in some of my 50-50s. You guys can see the cash lineup on the screen, and you can see that everyone produced except the small forwards, which is pretty funny because those were like my two absolute locks of the night. TJ Warren and Otto Porter. I loved both of them. The small forward position was pretty ass last night. I think the two Jazz small forwards ended up having the best value, Joe Ingles and Thabo Sefolosha. I mean, no one could have really predicted that, but Warren only got 8. He got ejected decently early in the game. So that ended up killing the lineup, unfortunately. Everyone else did very well. Everyone produced. Everyone did what they needed to do. It was a pretty solid lineup. It scored over 300. You can never complain when that happens. So let's just move right into tonight's slate. We have a 10-game slate. We got some great value out there. We have some injuries to talk about. And let's just dive right into it. So we have Anthony Davis, a game-time decision currently with a groin injury, but he is doubtful. So you probably want to roster Cousins if you can. We'll get into that as I go into the positions. Curry is out with an ankle injury, so we definitely want to take advantage of that Warriors usage. Jokic is out. Blake Griffin is out. Porzingis is a game time. Leonard has been out. Whiteside's out. He's been out. Connolly's been out. So Collins has been out. Hardaway's been out. Cauley-Stein. So really the biggest news of the day that we didn't already know about is Curry being out with that ankle injury. So we want to take advantage of that. So for point guards, just assume every guy that I talk about is for cash games unless I say otherwise. I will say if a guy is more GPP or not. For point guards, I'm really liking Jeff Teague at 6,200. Teague is seeing his lowest price that he's seen all year. 6,200 is a very fair price for Teague. He's a guy who's going to start. He's a guy who's going to play 30 minutes. And at 6,200, for as good of a player that Jeff Teague is, we need to take advantage of that. He needs around 30 fantasy points to reach value. He did have a bad game last game. He only had 14. But Memphis Grizzlies are a bit of a tough team. Expect different things coming out of Teague tonight against the Clippers. He should have Austin Rivers on him on defense. And let's treat that as a beautiful segue to go right into the second point guard I do like Austin Rivers. I like both of these guys going toe-to-toe. This game should be fairly high scoring. It should be fairly competitive. And it should just stay close the entire game. Both of these teams have been playing pretty well lately. The Timberwolves are the better team here with the Clippers not having Beverly or Blake Griffin, but they are at home and they have been playing pretty well lately. And the reason why they've been playing well is a big part of it is because of Austin Rivers. He's been playing fantastic as of late if you look at his game log. He's been playing a ton of minutes. His father, who is the coach, has been putting a lot of trust into him, and it's been paying off. He had 30 real points last game. He should play well again tonight. I expect him and Lou Will to go off of one another and play well like they have the last few games. So look at Rivers. Both of these guys are pretty cash viable in my opinion at 6,200. They need around 31 fantasy points to reach value. I could see both of them doing that. Look for both of those guys in cash games. GBP-wise, look towards Rondo. He has been playing very well. You could even look at him in cash games, 6,000. Between these 3 point guards, I really like all 3 of them. You can just, fit 2 out of the 3 in your lineup and feel pretty confident about it. I don't really see the need to spend up unless you're spending up on Kemba Walker for GPPs. He had a huge game last game. This game against the Warriors is predicted to stay close. I think the Warriors only given 6 points. That's where Vegas has them at. So look for Kemba to have another possible big game with no Curry on the Warriors. Shooting guards, I am looking towards Clay. Without Curry, there's going to be more shots taken, and I think Clay's going to take a lot of these shots. 6,900 is a very fair price. He's been playing pretty well as of late. He scores basically over 30 points in every fantasy game, and he needs to get around 34 fantasy points for value tonight. I think he can do that tonight. This game should stay fairly close. It's predicted to be very high scoring. I like Clay a lot in cash games. Another guy you could look at is Dotson on the New York Knicks. With Tim Hardaway being out, Dotson's going to see some uptake in minutes, 21 minutes and then 29 minutes. He did have a dud his first game, but bounced back and had 28 fantasy points his next game. He needs like 19 fantasy points to reach value tonight. I don't know if I trust him enough in cash games. You could do it, but I think I can find some more confident plays myself. But he's definitely a look. GPPs, if not cash, I do like him in some tournament lineups. He can pay off for you. He's going to play the minutes, so expect him to either throw a dud up, which he could. He's a new player. You don't really know what to expect from him. Or he could put in what you want him to do and get high 20s in fantasy points. So he's kind of a risky play. If you're feeling ballsy, put him in cash games. I don't think I'm going to. Another shooting guard you could possibly look at is E'Twaun Moore on the Pelicans. He's been playing very well as of late. His price has jumped up to 4,800, but he is coming off of a great game against the Warriors, 37 minutes, 35 fantasy points. With no Anthony Davis, just expect there to be more usage to go around. I've said this in past podcasts. I do like Moore, maybe not in cash games. He isn't really consistent enough, but GBPs, you could also look at him. I don't mind E'Twaun Moore at that price. Small forwards, I'm looking at the Golden State guys. Kevin Durant, 10,000. He's my chalk play of the night. I think he easily reaches 50 fantasy points without Steph Curry in that lineup tonight. A lot of the attention is going to go towards Durant on that Warriors offense. I think he's a must-play, cash play at small forward. He's my favorite stud to spend up for. His price could easily be more than 10,000 tonight. I think he's going to have a great game against the Bobcats. And what keeps me high on him is that this Warriors team shouldn't blow out the I've been saying the Bobcats, I think, the entire time. But I mean the Charlotte Hornets. I'm still stuck in, circa 2013, 2012. But I mean the Charlotte Hornets. Durant should be able to really torch this team without this game turning into a blowout. So look at Durant. I do like him a lot in this game. I also like Iguodala. I could pair both of them at small forward tonight. Iguodala is going to get more run tonight as well. He should see 22 to 25 minutes. He only needs 20 fantasy points to reach value. He's very viable in cash games as well. If you want to pair Durant and Iguodala as your two small forwards, I certainly don't mind that. Small forward isn't the best position tonight. I'm not really high on too many guys. So look at those Warriors guys and really consider rostering both of them. Power forward, I'm going with the old trusty Taj Gibson. I like him a bunch at 5,700. He's just a lock to get, over 25 fantasy points basically every single night. If you look at his game log, you only have one night here at 21 and one night here at 14 where he didn't reach value. He needs around 26, 27 fantasy points to reach value, and he's been a lock every single night. Like, if you're thinking of a go-to guy to be a cash game play every night, it's Taj Gibson. His ceiling isn't huge, but his floor isn't also too low. So he's a perfect cash play. He's probably going to get you those 25 fantasy points. I like him tonight. He has a pretty decent matchup against the Clippers with no Blake Griffin. Look at Taj. I always love playing him in cash games. Another power forward you could look at is Thaddeus Young. He's been playing out of his mind as of late, playing a ton of minutes. The Pacers ended up blowing out the Knicks two nights ago. I had him. He had like 26 at halftime, but he obviously slowed down because he didn't play the whole fourth quarter, and they didn't really need to turn to him too much. So Look for him to have another big game tonight. He needs 30 fantasy points to reach value. If you look at his game log, all right here, he's been pretty consistent. I like him in cash games a lot. Same thing as Taj Gibson. The ceiling isn't too high, but the floor isn't too low on him. He's a guy who's going to get you 25 to 35 fantasy points, right in that range, which is perfect for cash games. So I like Thad Young. Another guy you could look at if you could fit him in your cash games, definitely tournaments as well, is Draymond Green. Like I said, the Warriors are going to have a lot more usage through their starting five without Curry against the Hornets than they normally would. Green's coming off of a fantastic game against the Pelicans. 56 fantasy points. He needs like 41 tonight. He can certainly do it, but as you can see in his game log, he is a little shaky. He doesn't quite reach that 40 fantasy point mark every night, but he does have a higher percentage of doing that without Steph Curry in the lineup. I like him. I think he's very viable in cash games if you can spend up for him. For centers, I do like Cousins. He should get 55 and up for fantasy points without Anthony Davis in that lineup. He has a fantastic matchup against the Nuggets. The Nuggets also don't have Nikola Jokic in their lineup, so that opens up a lot of the floor for the Pelicans. Jokic is a great presence on defense for that Nuggets team. They're certainly going to be hurting without him on the defensive side of things and the offensive side of things. Look for Cousins to have a really big game tonight. If you can spend up for him, I definitely suggest you to spend up for him. Cousins and Durant are the two best stars to pay up for tonight, in my opinion. I think they're the best cash options for double-ups and 50-50s. Look at Cousins. If you want to drop down a little bit in the lower tier, Gasol and Towns are very fair in pricing. Gasol should have a fine night tonight against the Knicks. He's been playing well as of late. He needs around 42 fantasy points. And Karl Anthony Towns, the cat, 8,400's a very low price on him. I don't think his price has been that low all year. And he has a pretty tough matchup against DeAndre Jordan, but he should be able to play fine. He's quicker than Jordan and a shooter, so Jordan should have a tough time covering him. He needs around 42, just like Gasol. You could go with either one of these guys in that middle to high tier at center. I think both of them are great plays. And then one last center I'm going to throw at you guys if you're looking to punt. I do like Miles Plumlee at 3,600. No Dwayne Dedman, no Mike Muscala. And Miles Plumlee is just coming off of that, I think he had some marijuana issue over the summer. Yeah, some citation, and the NBA has dismissed it. So he's back. I want to say he's better than ever, but it's Miles Plumlee. He's certainly not better than ever. He kind of stinks. But 3,600 is a fair price on him. His last two games since he's been back, he's seen 20 minutes. He could see more than that if he plays well. It's definitely a risky play. I don't know if you should put him in cash games. It's tough. But for tournaments, he could be a great punt player on your team, and he can get over 20 fantasy points that he needs to reach value. So keep an eye on Miles Plumlee. He's a fair play tonight. He has a ton of risk, but a ton of reward as well. But that's going to do it, guys. That's going to sum up the 10-game slate tonight. If you haven't gone to my site already, do so, fdguru.com. Everything's self-explanatory. If you need full lineups, everything on here that I offer is on here except for soccer. Soccer is through Twitter. I've been doing the Premier League and the Champions League as of late. If you're interested in the Champions League lineup today at 2:45, message me. I'll have something ready to go by then. As far as everything else, guys, everything's pretty self-explanatory. NHL's been fantastic as of late. We've won 6 out of our last 8 nights in double-ups. And I know a lot of you guys don't know much about NHL, so if you want to have some NHL DFS fun, definitely message me. And NBA is right here, obviously. And if you need a membership, go to the pricing, and everything is self-explanatory with all the seasons. We also have golf on here. That will be up on Thursday. And if you don't already have an account, just register in the top right, and you can make a free account. And if you want to eventually purchase lineups in the future, you'll have an account to do so. And that's pretty much it, guys. Again, if you're into soccer, we'll have something today. And if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. I'm going to put the link down below right now. Subscribe, please. And that's about going to sum it up, guys. Once I hit 200 subscribers, I will do more free lineups. And until next time, I am FD Guru, and I am signing off.